Let's talk transverse abdominis today. So this is another part of the deep core. We've gone over the pelvic floor. If you haven't checked those videos, but we've gone over the pelvic floor, and this TVA is another part of that unit. So we want to learn to connect to it well. I have a few examples here to help you kind of visualize and practice. But first, we want to talk about, it is that deepest layer of muscles. It's called the corset muscle because of the way that it wraps around your torso and then inserts into your linea alba, which is the tissue that gets stretched with diastasis. Another video on that. But we want to be able to connect to it because it helps to prevent excessive stress and strain on that linea alba tissue, and it helps the core manage pressure properly. So this is very important in pregnancy, very important for recovery postpartum, and then important in everyday life, right? We want that core to be firing optimally, doing its best, supporting our body. So a few ways you can think about this. The first one, with no props or anything, when you think about this, exhaling and connecting to this core, activating that muscle, that TVA muscle, we want to inhale, release, and relax. Exhale, of course, start with the pelvic floor, and then connect from top to bottom. So bottom to top. You know, the pelvic floor that's up here. So we're connecting from bottom to top because we start with that pelvic floor connection and then go up the TVA. So ideally here, you will, as you practice, get a feel for your lower TVA, mid TVA, and upper TVA. You can kind of emphasize those with different exercises and practice more each part if you feel like you're lacking in a part. I always struggled the most with the middle. Like that midsection was the hardest for me to connect to. Took a lot more practice. So just know that it's okay if you feel like you've got a really strong upper or lower or mid connection, but somewhere else isn't as strong. It just takes practice, it just takes time. But back to how to connect. So since we're going from bottom to top, the first thing you want to think of when you exhale after that pelvic floor connection, you can think hip bones pull together, everything else buttons together or interconnect. So everything kind of wraps up around the core, just like you would think a corset. So if you like a good visual like I do, we've got our scarf here for our corset muscle. So here we are with our corset muscle, our TVA wrapping around our abdomen. It's just doing its thing as we breathe. Relax a little bit, bounces back, relax a little bit. So we go to connect. We want to inhale, relaxes, exhale, it tightens, it wraps around our abdomen. So you should be able to notice here, as you exhale and connect, everything tightens up a bit. You can feel that everything is activated, your waist is tightening here. Think of a corset. So that is a good one. My favorite is the jacket visual. Now my jacket's not tight, so it's not perfect visual. I have a lot of zipper jackets that aren't puffy coats. But the other thing you can think of here is it zipping up. So zipping those abs up together. And so what that would look like here as the visual is, if I can get this tucked back. So you're thinking of those abs, you can think of them tightening like the corset, or you can think of them zipping up and tightening. So here we go, exhale, connect from bottom to top, just like a zipper. Everything is zipping up. And if this was a tight spandex jacket, you would see that everything as I zip tightens up. So from bottom to top, everything connects, zips up. So the thing you want to keep in mind here, the thing that you want to practice is connecting from bottom to top, connecting and making sure that you're not just pulling at the belly button, though I can do another video about things that you don't want to do for this. We want to make sure that we are inhaling, relaxing, exhale, connect. And you'll be able to see, especially in pregnancy, so this is a great time to be learning in pregnancy. Well, it's great to learn before as well. It's great to learn, it's just good to know. It's good for you to know. But there's a great visual in pregnancy because of the belly. You can go and you exhale, and you'll see that the belly comes in and lifts a bit here with this optimal exhale and that TVA coming on. So there's a few ways you can visualize this, a few ways you can practice it and think of it. Just make sure that you do practice it, and remember, it works together with your pelvic floor and diaphragm to control pressure in that abdomen. With a nice warm up just to get everything ready to move. And the first thing we're going to start with here is our breath. So we're going to sit nice and lengthened. We're going to use that optimal breath. Inhale that air down. So focus on inhaling deep, gently expanding 360 around the torso and that pelvic floor. Exhale is nice and natural right now. So So nice inhales, you can put a hand on the rib, the lower belly.